is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the second discussion for Tainted Grail. And this video is actually going to be primarily discussing a lot of the, revelations or realizations I've noticed as trying to do this as a series for the channel, and explaining why I will actually not be continuing doing this series for the channel. So let's actually start with that one. Let's start with the latter of why I'm not continuing. First of all, there was, in the time I was actually playing this consistently for the channel, and the time of the very last video, the Chapter 6, Part 1, a lot of things had happened. I had started a new job, I had moved, and so, I mean, those are basically two big things that, and then currently, at the time of this video, I'm actually in the process of getting married. So a lot of major life events that caused me to just just focus on, you know, other games that I could play quicker and get on the channel. And just in terms of doing a series, it takes a lot of time and effort to try and upload consistently and just make it worth watching. Now, Tainted Grail, that is by in no means a slight on this game. This game is still absolutely fantastic for a casual just playing and not have to worry about the length of a video, trying to keep, you know, dialogue going, trying to remember, you know, what was going on. This game is so rich in its story and its campaign that it just, for me, I don't feel it makes a good series, which is weird because you think it would. But here's the reason why I'm saying that. Same reason why Seventh Continent doesn't work either, is because there is just so much going on. There is so much to do, so many things to explore, ways to level up your character. It is this, Sleeping Gods, and like Seventh Continent are all those games that are very, very close to a video game. Hell, Tainted Grail even is a video game now. That just goes to show how deep this game is in terms of just everything that goes on with it. That unlike with Sleeping Gods, which is working out really well as a series, I can set a timer and be like, I'm going to do this in 1 hour. Like, we're going to play it because it's so free. There's just whatever you're doing, but you know that it's coming to an end because of the event decks in Sleeping Gods. That, yes, okay, boom, 1 hour is done, we'll just call it here, and you have a really good pacing. Seventh Continent, you can actually do that as well. Tainted Grail, you can't. And, well, I mean, you could put a hard stop, but because it's broken up into chapters instead of just play whenever you feel like it, I always wanted to kind of get one video per chapter. But the problem with this is that since it is broken up into chapters, you don't know when that chapter is going to end. Good example is with Chapter 6, it's like it gives you options. Hey, to complete this quest, complete one of the following. And it gave me 2 options. It's like, I'm not going to spoil Chapter 6 for anyone, but it's like, do this or do this. And I'm like, hell, I'll do, if it's giving me options, I'll do one of the other. I'll do this option. And I'm trying to do that. And because you have so many keywords, you have so many statuses that you're trying to get, conditions that need to be met, you go to try and do that and you run into a wall and you're like, oh, I can't even do this because of X, Y, and Z. I just spent an hour and a half fucking trying to complete this quest because of just the way that the game works. That, you know, you still have resources to manage, you still have to light the menhirs, you still have to travel and do all of this, that you still have to find the location you have to go to, and you have a map that kind of gives you a general idea, and so you're doing all of that, fighting, I mean, everything else that still makes this game absolutely fantastic, but then you go into the location you have to, and you're like, wow, I can't even do this. Okay, I guess I will do the other one, but why did it give me two ways to, why did it give me two options if I can't even complete one of them? And it's like I'm sure because of just how rich this game is, there is a way to do it. It's just the harder way. It's kind of like the first option is like, hey, go here. This will progress the chapter the easiest way. Or you can try another way, and if you happen to have the right conditions, then yes, you can do that. Because it is very much like an open-ended, quest, story-driven game. But because I'm trying to break it up into chapters and make each video like that, it just turns it into, oh man, I just played for an hour and a half, and now, or 2 hours, and now I have to just completely backtrack. And this is not the first time. Chapter 6 was not the first time that happened. If you watch all the other previous videos, I'm pretty sure that happened a lot, where it's like I wanted to try and do one thing, and you're going like, you're like, oh, I know exactly where that's at. I'm going to go straight to there, and then you have to do all this weird bunny trail stuff before you can actually finally do the main objective. And there's nothing wrong with that, but for me, there is something wrong with that when I'm trying to make it as a series on the channel. Every other series, like, I mean, that are in this vein, like I mentioned too, was Seventh Wonder, Seventh Continent, just I don't believe worked well with 3, which is what we were trying to do. Sleeping Gods is working out fantastic, but that is very free-flowing. There's really no restrictions on what you want to do. It's just do whatever you want. But this one does still have it's like it's a sandbox, but it's still, a sandbox that still have borders, so you still kind of you're still limited by what you want to do. And to be completely honest, I would actually say that Tainted Grail, I was gonna say Tainted Avalon. Tainted Grail would work best with more people. And here's the reason why I'm saying that. At least with one other person. I feel like this game would be way too much going on if there were 4. But with one other person, same with Seventh Continent, is one, you get someone to share the story with. You get to, enjoy what's happening. You get to explore your character, because your characters have their own stories within the exploration journal and their own goals. But if you're trying to go for one objective, and like, hey, I'm going to go to this location, and you hit a wall, well, the other person can go for the other one, and you can kind of divide and conquer, and then, hey, I went to this location, and boom, I didn't hit a wall, so awesome, let's go this way, so let's go together. And you have different ways to, you just have more resources to go around. Yeah, it costs more, or you get less time for the menhirs, but I feel like that's more people being able to do it, instead of one person being like, oh god, that one is about to go out, I need to run all the way over there and just light it so I can continue actually, exploring the land. I was really starting to feel like, man, it is just me trying to take on the burden of the world, and it's hard. It is very hard to do it, and not to say that it becomes tedious, but yeah, for lack of a better term, it kind of becomes tedious, because it's not I want to go explore, I want to see what's happening in this location that I've never seen before. You're always in the back of your mind, I need to light a menhir, or I'm being hunted by something, or whatever the situation may be. It's just me. I'm attacked by everything. I'm lighting menhirs, I'm exploring, I'm traveling, I'm getting all these statuses, that it just becomes a little much, I feel, to do for one person. And the other big barrier to, not even barrier to entry, the obstacle that I faced is because I had taken such a long time to come back to the game, that I just had to relearn everything, and this is such a rich story. I mentioned at the beginning of the chapter, for Chapter 6, that I was like, this is like playing a video game that you haven't touched in years, and you come back and you're like, I don't even know what is going on. Like, that happened to me once with Knights of the Old Republic, the Star Wars game, that I just had to restart, because I'm like, I do not remember anything of what the story is trying to tell me to do. I didn't take any decent notes to be like, oh, what was the story? Oh, that's right, yes. And nope, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I just wrote tasks down that I had to do. That's not helpful. And for a game with this rich storytelling, you want to remember what is actually going on. So I just feel like that I don't have I mean, I'm trying to do Madara, Gloomhaven. I mean, Gloomhaven's easier to jump into because it is just each video is a, you know, it's a chapter, it's an encounter or a dungeon crawl. That one's way easier to actually kind of hop back into. Same with Jaws of the Lion. So yeah, I have Madara, I have Sleeping Gods, I have Gloomhaven, and yeah, that's pretty much, those are the three big ones. And I always had this one just kind of in the back of my mind that, oh yeah, I really need to continue that. And whenever I was setting it up, I was like, I don't remember anything that happened. Like, it's vague pieces of information that I'm like, I kind of remember doing this. So yeah, those are really the big reasons why, why I just won't be continuing this as a series. But I want to very much reiterate that the game is not bad at all. This is still I think it's Awaken Realm's best game out of all the ones that I've played by them. This blows Etherfields out of the water. Etherfields is a fucking joke. That is a mess in game design as well as story. So it's just, and this is not. This one is such a, the writing is so well done. The gameplay is well done. It's just, it's a lot for one person to handle. And you could easily play this solo. You just control two characters, but because you have the two different decks, the combat and the diplomacy decks, you have to manage their upgrades, all their resources. I feel like it's actually pretty difficult to do in like a solo, like in a solo setting, controlling two characters. I think that kind of becomes pretty difficult, and I personally wouldn't want to do it. I asked Brad, who's on the channel quite a bit. He got the game, and he's like, "Do you run with one or two people?" I'm like, "Oh, one. Two would be way too much to handle. On top of the rules, which is really not that much. It's really just more of the character. Like, I'd be trying to play an RPG or play D&D, and you're controlling you're playing two characters. It just, I don't think it works. But yeah, the great thing about this game is I could easily just start over with another person, like the whole campaign over, and just be like, oh, yep, since I don't remember any of this, let's just do what decisions we feel like we want to do. Or if I do remember, it's like, oh, in chapter 6, I remember we needed to go here at around chapter 2 or 3, so let's try that. There's just so many options. That this book, it's funny because it's like, it's not the thickest, exploration journal, I've ever seen. But there's just so much in here. Like, you open them to one, you're like, I'm gonna explore this one location. It has 3 pages of things you can do, and you're like, oh man. Or you can just get the app. Like, the app actually has voiceover and all that. It's its own foreteller app, and actually looks pretty damn good. It gives you some background noise as well, so that's nice. Yeah, this is still a 10 out of 10 game. Just because I'm not continuing the series means I dislike it. It's just that the other ones are easier to do as a series, and I feel like will be a more cohesive narrative, viewer-wise. Like, no one wants to watch one chapter that's 6 hours, that's 6 hours long, because chapter 6, I didn't even finish part 1. Like, that's just how long it was taking, and that can be incredibly daunting to just not be doing advancing the story in any way. So yeah, that's pretty much my quick thoughts on kind of Tainted Grail for the channel. But if you are looking for other series to watch on the channel, definitely. I'm still continuing Gloomhaven when I get around to it. But Madara is coming up, Sleeping Gods is still going, and Seventh Continent, I think I might do another curse with I think Devin wants to check it out, so that one we can do in the same style as Seventh Continent, as Sleeping Gods, because I can just set a timer for each video and you just call it then and there. So that one might be coming back. But yeah, and check out, I have a Board Game Geek list of all the series that I've done. So You can go look for that. I think it's just called Board Games Unlocked series. You might be able to find it. But if not, actually, I'll put it in the description below. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed what I did for Tainted Grail, and who knows, maybe in the future, if I don't have a whole bunch of campaigns going on, I can come back and play this with someone else, play this with Devin or something, and we can hopefully progress the chapters a lot quicker by having more people roaming the land. So, I mean, if you want to see that, if you want to, I can just start the series over again. But as of right now, this is where I'm going to call it. Tainted Grail, still a 10 out of 10 game. Everything about it is fantastic. Absolutely love it. But let me know what you think of everything I just talked about in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.